Everyone, a very good evening to all the viewers who are joining me today at Kopi with Vance. As usual, this is my coffee cup, and of course, today is not coffee, it's just water. But anyway, just showing you the logo. There you go. That's a signature thing that I always do before any talks that we're going to take place. Today, interview session is going to be very exclusive with Daya Govender. I'm going to straight jump into the topic. He's currently having COVID-19, and he's been, I think, almost over 8 days or so. So he's going to come and at this point of time, he should be resting, but he's actually coming and giving us interview sessions with us. So what is one of the important things that we are actually looking at is how are things like this can overcome. And of course, obviously, he's not in Singapore at the moment. He's in South Africa. So let's bring Daya up and just to get to know him a little bit more about himself. All right, how is he coping up with? And of course, the initial thing that we wanted to do this interview, it's probably after he has recovered. But since he's very enthused, and we had a chat earlier, and he's pretty much fine, and he just want to share some of his experiences to all the viewers out here on how he actually is coming through it. So I'm going to share this interview exclusively for Kopi with Vance. So let's bring Daya up. Hello, Daya.
Hello, Manan. How are you doing?
I'm good, sir.
Must I introduce myself? Hi. Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah. Okay. I'm Daya Govender, and I have a family of 5. My wife is also suffering with COVID-19. We've been through it for about 10 days now. It's a horrible disease. It's something that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. It's some days you are fine, some days you go back, and there's no cure for it. You just have to take your supplements and your turmeric water, crushed garlic, crushed ginger. You have to make sure that whatever you drink is always warm to hot. Initially, when you first start off with the COVID-19, you start with diarrhea, runny nose, sore throat, heavy chest, and you lose your taste. You lose your sense of taste. Up to now, I haven't got my sense of taste back. But most of the other serious symptoms, we are over. The most crucial, the most crucial symptom of serious COVID infection is your levels of oxygen and the cough that troubles you, and fever. We've never had a fever. I've had a terrible cough this morning as well, and my level of oxygen actually dropped below 90 for the first time.
But Daya,
yeah.
I'm going to stop you here for what? How do you know that you actually?
Sorry, my oxygen.
No, but how you know you got it? How you got it?
Well, my wife and I tested on the 29th of December. I was negative, and she got her results 2 days later, and she was positive. In that time, I also started feeling that I had COVID. I didn't have to go for a test. I just knew that I had COVID because I've never felt that bad. I've never felt that ill ever before. I know the difference between. I used to suffer with bronchitis. I know the difference between bronchitis and COVID. It's way different. And then I went and bought a oxygen meter, which is crucial. And so far, our oxygen levels have been quite good. except this morning, mine fell below 90 for the first time. I actually phoned around to a hospital to see if I needed oxygen, whether I could come in and get it. They said, fine, I can come and get some oxygen, get more oxygen. But after I had a good sleep and I woke up and I had something to eat, I slept again and I took my oxygen levels again. I see it recovered to above 95, which is, it should be above 95 to 100.
Daya,
A lot of people.
I'm going to ask you something. Which part of South Africa you live in?
Sorry, Banan, I can't hear you.
Which part of South Africa you live in?
I live in a place called Belito. It's a seaside town in the province of KwaZulu Natal. It's not far from Durban. It's a small little place, seaside town, and I also own a restaurant here. It's an Indian restaurant, so it's very close to my work, and my home is very close to the sea,
How many
to
kids
the
you
beach,
have, Daya?
to the main beach here. I have 5 kids here.
Okay.
Five kids, and the youngest one is 3 years and 5 months, and we haven't even given a hug for the last 2 weeks. He hasn't even come close to us. And lucky my other kids are on school holiday at the moment, so they're taking care of her. But from Tuesday they go back to school, so she'll be with me and her mom. So the most important thing for us was to make sure that our kids didn't get this virus. It's terrible, especially for small kids to go through it. There's different strains of COVID-19. The one that we had last year didn't affect the young kids so badly. But this strain that we have in South Africa at the moment, it's affecting anyone and everyone. And there's not a day that goes past that we don't know of someone that has passed away from COVID. It's either a friend or family member that passed away from COVID. Unfortunately, our health facilities in South Africa are not up to scratch. They are overcrowded. There has not been sufficient investment in upgrading our health facilities. The hospitals are a mess. A lot of the people that go to hospital don't ever come back. They actually die in hospital. So the last thing I would advise anyone to do is to go to a hospital in South Africa. It's terrible. If you can, get supplementary oxygen or something at home, if you can. The private hospitals are choked to capacity. They are treating people in car parks. And so, it's just something that we unfortunately have to live through in South Africa at the moment.
Let me ask you, Daya. How many days have you already been affected by COVID-19?
10 days. 10 days. It should be, they say the maximum we should isolate for is about 14 days. So we've done 10 days so far. And yesterday I felt I could take a walk, I could take a jog on the beach. But this morning, I struggled with such a terrible cough. And then I felt my oxygen, I tested my oxygen levels and I see it fell below 90. And I was actually starting to get a bit concerned. But after I took a bit of rest and had some breakfast, I slept and I woke up and I see my oxygen levels went up quite a bit.
Are you drinking enough water?
Yeah, I drink a lot of everything. Anything that you have must be warm to hot. Water or tea, black tea, and even if you have a juice, it must be warm. Otherwise, it triggers a cough. And the cough is like it lasts for like 3 or 4 minutes, and it really causes you a lot of body aches because it comes from way inside your lungs, deep in your lungs. So it's quite hectic at the moment.
Daya, of course, we have a lot of cases that's happening around the world.
Yeah.
and most of them have fever or chills, cough, shortness of breath,
Yeah,
difficulty breathing,
yeah.
fatigue, muscle or body aches,
Fever.
headache, fever, and also new loss of taste and smell and sore throat. Do you have any loss of taste or smell?
Yeah, I lost my sense of taste. Smell is still there, but the sense of taste is gone. Even 10 days later, I can't taste the food properly, and you don't even feel like eating. I've lost about 2 kg since last week.
And so you're just resting right now, peacefully resting and recovered.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, I try and rest as much as possible, but I'm in business, and there's certain things I can't let somebody else do. Since my wife is also sick, so I had to, like, yesterday, I had to take a drive to my other business and sort some things out. But I stay far away from my employees, and I have to I have to make some decisions and make sure they're okay. But I just make sure that we sanitize, and I always wear a mask, and I use a double mask when I'm close to them,
Okay.
and we try and avoid getting too close to each other.
And also, Daya,
Mm.
over the world, I think there's about 89.7 million cases, about 49.8 million recovered, and about 1.98 million deaths.
Yeah,
And,
correct.
but I know you've been always been a fighter. You've been exercising quite regular on boxing and also some great lifting.
Yeah,
I think that has actually
yeah,
helped you in your physical and mental.
yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't been keeping very fit recently. It's I try wherever possible to try and do some jogging and walking on the beach side and so forth. But I got such a hectic life. Really, I don't. Sometimes I don't even have time to really sit down and have dinner with my family. Uh, we all eat at different times. We come at different times home, and just hectic.
And of course, whenever you very need to rest. But of course, you want to share something about you and your wife went through. Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. What we went through.
Yeah.
Yeah, initially when we started off, like around New Year's Eve, um, I thought I was getting a cold, and my wife was already well, she tested positive, and she was already sick. And then we started getting terrible cough, and I started off with diarrhea and a runny nose, and that time I didn't even think about checking my oxygen levels and so forth. But as I read about these symptoms, and we started getting aches and pains in our body. My wife had terrible headaches, and she still got it up to now. And you feel absolutely exhausted. You feel flat. You can't do anything. And then she was positive, and I was starting to suffer with the same symptoms. And what really troubles us is the cough. It comes from deep within your lungs, and your whole body aches and pains after a while. And you have a coughing fit for 2 or 3 minutes non-stop. And but I mean, so far we've never had any. Then I invested. I've read about this, and I invested in an oxygen meter, because a lot of the people that are passing away, they don't realize their oxygen levels have fallen. Some of them even below 50%, and anything under 90 is dangerous. And although you may be able to get oxygen at home, you can even damage your body if you have too much of oxygen. So it needs to be handled in a health facility, so they can monitor the levels. But just having oxygen alone at home is as dangerous as having no oxygen at all. So yeah, I'm invested in an oxygen meter. I've been checking myself regularly. I've been checking my wife regularly, and and so far, I think I personally think I'm positive that we are over the worst of it. I mean, I've been through I've been through a lot in my life, and this thing is one of the I'm very positive that we able to shake this thing off. But every day without fail, even this morning, I heard of he's not a friend of mine, but he's a nephew of my cousin's wife. He passed away yesterday. He's 47 years old. So every day we're hearing of deaths, and it's just unbelievable. This I don't know. It's such a torrid experience. This COVID. I mean, the closest you can get to this was at Spanish flu in the 1918 or 1920 or something, and it took that Spanish flu only affected Europe, and it took almost 5 years to clear up. This thing is affecting the whole world. It may take us even longer to get over it, even with the vaccines. I mean, I've been reading of people that are taking the vaccines are also dying. Healthcare workers and all, they can't function after they've taken the vaccine. So at the moment, the way I look at it, I read a lot about this stuff. It's all the trial and error. I suppose the only ones that have the solutions for all this is the Chinese.
There one thing I want to ask you.
Mm.
I know you are a person with energy, with a great attitude. You always been a good header. Do you think that attitude really influence your career?
You mean attitude?
Yeah, the way you
Attitude
think.
is you need to be positive with this thing. You have to be positive and have the thinking that you will be able to fight this thing. Because if you sit down and wait for better things to happen without making an effort and being positive and making sure that you've taken all your supplements, your vitamin C's, your vitamin D, your vitamin E, your garlic and ginger, medium to hot water, you're drinking enough fluids, uh, having orange juice, warm orange juice. You shouldn't be taking anything cold with this COVID. It will affect your chest very badly. And yeah, this I don't think even the the best doctors in the world know what we are dealing with here. So yeah.
Daya, thank you so much for
Mm.
being in, and I know that you should be resting now.
Yeah, thank you, Vanan, and I
Yeah,
wish you and your family all the best.
thank
And
you so much.
yeah, so if you have any questions, if you have anything, I'll be glad to answer them on WhatsApp. And
Yes.
what I suggest you do is invest in the oximeter.
Okay.
It's very
I
important.
have I have one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very important. Yeah. So
So
good.
tell me, Daya.
Yeah. So I just wish you and your family good luck, and wish you good luck with your business. And hopefully we'll meet one of these days when I can travel again. I can't
Yes, yes.
wait to come to Asia again. I'm looking forward to it.
I know you love Singapore, right?
Oh, I love Singapore. Yeah, I had a good 10 years in Singapore, so no regrets at all.
Okay,
Yeah,
Daya.
no
We
regrets at all.
we want you to rest.
Yeah, all right, man. Thank
And
you, Vanan.
we'll
Yeah,
keep in touch with you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
okay.
Thank you. We'll see you
Thank
again.
you. Take care. Right. Cheers. Bye. Bye.
Bye. All right, so there was Daya Govender. I mean, he had spent a good, almost close to 20 minutes. I think we do not want to have more than that because we can see he's actually going a little breathless and we don't want to be the cause for it. But Daya is actually from South Africa. I mean, he was in Singapore for almost 10 over years, like what he mentioned. I know Daya personally is a very good friend of mine, and he used to box and he used to train. So mentally and physically, he is very, I would say, he's strong. And unfortunately, things in South Africa is a little different compared to where we are in Singapore. We have to be very blessed and fortunate, but they also been blessed and fortunate as well. But because of the situation there, it's a little different. So Daya shared his experiences that he has been having COVID. So we had a great interview session, almost 20 minutes. We love to have a more a detailed discussion with him on the statistics on certain things, which is very capable to speak. But I just have to cut him there because we don't want him to have a lot of oxygen going out. It's a quite sad thing that we don't want him to have. I mean, we all know that the coronavirus, the COVID-19, is an infectious disease that's caused by newly discovered coronavirus, right? I mean, there's so many viruses that came by, but most people also fall sick with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms and recover without special treatment. So most of the time they get isolated and of course been monitored and kind of stuff. Of course, now as Singapore is more blessed, we got more vaccines coming up and so on and so forth. But we all know that virus actually that COVID-19 is being transmitted through droplets generated. An infected person who coughs or sneeze or exhales, these droplets are too heavy to hang in there and quickly fall on floors or surfaces. But of course, like I said, certain countries will take this seriously and isolates because it is very important and crucial. So I think in that area, I think Singapore is one of the blessed area that we are in. So we had a great, once again, get a great interview session with Daya. As who are just joining in, for those who are just joining in, thank you so much. We had just finished the interview with Daya Govender, who has been infected with COVID-19. He is from South Africa. So he shared his experiences. There's a lot more that we want to talk to him about, a little more statistics to understand how he's. I mean, we had a chat earlier before becoming live. So there was a lot of information that he shared with me. But during this live interview session, I think he is not fully ready. He need more rest. So that's why the interview session was cut short in 18 minutes. You can actually see that as a recorded version, it will be in the Facebook and our social media in YouTube. And Fit Mantras is another social media that we have. So these are the things that has been recorded there, so you can actually watch it. But it is not a joke thing, right? We all know that. And as Singapore transit from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3, we are blessed. Sometimes we have to be humble as well. But looking at other countries, which is not probably because of certain things, we can't comment on that. But if you are just looking at us, I mean, we went through 1 year of circuit breaker. And of course, vaccines are coming in. Some got some concerns and so on and so forth. But I think we need to move on, right? And the interview session that we had Daya Govender just to show how he actually is going through. He can be a little emotional. I think he was becoming a bit emotional, but that was the right time to put him a full stop rather than a question mark or a comma to continue the conversation. So stay tuned. Probably there will be another interview with Daya probably after he recovered. So this is his 10th day, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was telling me about 7th or 8th day. So he went, I think his wife went out and then the wife got it in South Africa and then passed it to the Daya Govender who's at home. And quickly they isolate themselves and the kids was in another place. So we wish them a speedy recovery from Singapore to South Africa. Wish you all the best and recover fast. Probably we will have a second interview when he's fully recovered. Maybe in the next 1 week or 2 weeks, probably we'll want to come back again live to talk about the second part of how he actually went through and what are the few challenges. But I think at this point of time, he is mentally alert, but probably because of physically fatigue, and that can actually affect the mental as well. So I'm wishing Daya Govinda and his family all the best and speedy recovery with God's blessings, the Lord one, the biggest one on top of blessings, and recover soon. So to all our viewers, thank you so much for a short notice of interview session with Daya Govinda. We will catch you again at Kopi with Vance, maybe perhaps next week for another topic with Daya on his recovery of COVID-19. For now, I'm signing off. This is Vance, Kopi with Vance. See ya.